Do you ever wonder why there are so many videos on YouTube that show you how to plant the world's most expensive spice, saffron? They show you how to plant the corms, they show you the gorgeous blooms, they harvest the beautiful orange stigma, and then they don't show you what happens in year two. That's because for most people, year two is a bust. The blooms disappear and then suddenly saffron seems like a one-hit wonder. Hey folks, if we haven't met before, my name is Tara. I garden here in the California Bay Area and my climate is Mediterranean. The short, wet winters and the very long, hot, dry summers are just perfect for saffron. And I'm on my 5th season this year, and I've got my entire 4-year journey, that entire roller coaster ride, all the things I learned, all the little secrets about growing saffron have been documented in a video, and I'll put a link to it somewhere here. But today, we're going to be talking about myths and misconceptions around growing saffron. It's mid-September, and it's time for me to wake up my saffron corms. And you may be wondering what I've been dragging around here. This is actually saffron that I've been growing in containers. And last year, for the first time, I grew saffron in ground, and I'm going to keep it in ground for the next 4 years without disturbing it, just to see how different that is than growing in containers. But all this stuff over here, this is all saffron foliage, and I've been using it as mulch because it has gone completely dormant all summer long, ever since April all the way through mid-September. And I'm just going to water it in. That's how I'm going to wake up my saffron. Let's go ahead and tackle some of those myths. Myth number 1, saffron can grow in any climate. Well, sellers will love to tell you that saffron grows really well from zones 4 through 11. But the truth is that saffron loves the Mediterranean climate, like I said, the short, wet winters and the long, dry summers. And any other climate, if it's hot and humid during the summer, that moisture in the air is not good for saffron. The really cold, freezing winters all the way up north, not good for saffron either. So technically, yes, you can grow saffron literally anywhere, even indoors. And that first year, it will bloom for reasons that I've talked about in prior videos. The flower is actually in that corm already. But then after that, you're going to have to really struggle. I have a gardening philosophy that says that if you want to grow anything, you need to understand how it grows in its native environment. And after that, if it doesn't grow well for you, you know it's not really your fault. You need to be able to modify your environment to make that thing grow well. So if you're growing anywhere other than kind of like my climate, you're going to struggle and you're going to have to figure out how to make those conditions just right for saffron to grow. Okay, this one is a good one. Plant once, harvest forever. Almost makes it seem like all you need to do is plant some saffron and walk away, and then every year you just need to go harvest those blooms and make all this money from the saffron that you're going to be producing, right? Wrong. Now, technically, the mother corm can divide quite a bit. I mean, one mother corm can result in up to 5 baby corms, but there's a lot of factors. You actually have to go watch my video from season 3, which is Saffron's Dirty Little Secret, where I talk about why in the second year you may not even get any blooms, and then what you need to do, and so on and so forth. So definitely watch that video. But yeah, it's not as simple as plant and walk away and then just keep harvesting saffron for the rest of your life, okay? And then there's another one related, and I've seen this a lot actually. A lot of vendors have started promoting saffron as being kind of like a side business. So it's almost like, hey, you can make all of this money if you have a little space in your garden to grow saffron. Not exactly true. So first off, do you know that it takes 167 flowers to make 1 gram of saffron? That's barely enough for maybe, I don't know, 3 paellas or so. The little jar that you get at Costco that costs something like $20, a small glass jar, that's 1 gram of saffron, 167 flowers. I'm in my 5th season, but last year, finally, after my first initial investment of 25 corms, I finally got 115 blooms, and that's not even 1 gram of saffron. So 4 years into it, I only got 115 blooms, right? Yeah, you really can't make a big business growing saffron unless you've got really large farms. And then there's a reason why it's called the world's most expensive spice. It takes a lot of manual labor to harvest those things. And here's another myth: saffron is maintenance free. Yeah, no. A lot of people just say, all you need to do is stick it in the soil and walk away, and you'll get all of these beautiful blooms. Except, okay, so here's the biggest problem that I've had with saffron. It is one of the tastiest morsels to every single rodent under the sun. And in my garden, I've got squirrels, I've got rats, I've got gophers, I've got raccoons, I've got you name it. And they all love saffron, and they will all dig up your saffron. Okay. So you've got to really focus on protecting your saffron. They'll eat not just the corms, as something tells them that those corms have woken up and they've started to grow. They will come and dig out those corms and eat them. And then when the little shoots appear, they will eat the shoots as well. And the shoots actually come with little flowers. They will eat the flowers as well. So you will get literally no flowers if you don't protect your saffron corms from rodents. So make sure that you put down some chicken wire, whatever you need to do, but keep those corms away from the rodents. I'm actually going to be moving all of my containers into a large rodent-proof enclosure that we made this year. I'll put a link to it if you're interested in what we did to keep mostly the squirrels away. They're probably the biggest culprits when it comes to eating saffron corms. And then one of the other big dangers of saffron corms, especially if you live in a very warm, sort of humid climate, is the corms will rot. So if you live in the deep south, as an example, or Texas or whatever, you will probably need to do something to keep your saffron away from the rain, like move it away I actually move my saffron into my gazebo, and I actually grow it in my gazebo. Saffron is great that way. It does like sun, but it doesn't mind part shade as well. So I actually grow a lot of my containers in my gazebo. The squirrels still get to it, but at least it's shaded out from an overdose of rain. And then, of course, during our summers, it's completely dry, not a drop of rain, right? But if you live in really warm, humid climates, you are probably going to need to move your saffron away where it is not getting exposed to the rain. In fact, I would move it somewhere where it is not even as humid, because the corms will tend to rot. And then finally, this is kind of an important one. All corms are not created equal. Vendors will try to sell you saffron corms, and they won't give you too much information about it, especially now, which is kind of end of season. A lot of vendors will be selling saffron for really cheap. I would recommend that if you are still looking to buy saffron corms for this season, go with the reputed vendors. I'll put a few that I trust. I'm not affiliated with any of them, but I do trust them, and I'll put a link to their websites. There's 3 of them that I recommend. There's Renee's Garden, which is where I bought my initial stock from, and really large, beautiful corms. There's Baker Creek. I always trust Baker Creek's stuff. And then there's a new one that I've been following for a while now on Instagram and YouTube, and it's called She's Rooted Home. And I've seen their products. I've seen them boxing their products, and it's just a family business, and it seems like a really solid company. So those are the ones that I would recommend. But if you've got a local source for it that you can actually drive down to a local saffron farm and buy it from there, that's really the best that you can do and support your local businesses. But what I was trying to say with all of that is that all saffron corms are not created equal, and size does matter when it comes to saffron corms. Again, watch my journey and watch my frequently asked questions. I tackle all of these in those videos. I'll put actually a link to my journey right there again, and I'll also put a link to the FAQs, and I highly recommend that you watch both of them. I think you'll learn a lot. And if you're still growing saffron and you live in, say, a really cold climate like Nova Scotia or Canada or something like that, do comment below on your experience, and especially what happened in year 2, year 3. A lot of people have commented on my prior videos, especially some of them that were really popular, about how they had the same experience that I did. Saffron did well the first year, didn't do well the second year. What gives, right? And of course, it's always about, be patient. And by the way, did you protect it from those squirrels? So just to wrap up, truth or myth? Yes, saffron can bloom almost anywhere, That's true, but will it keep thriving year after year? And will it grow in absolutely any climate? And will it make you absolutely rich and bloom forever without any effort? Myth, myth, myth. So if you want to see all the ups and downs of my journey from my 3 lonely flowers in year 2 all the way through year 4 where I'm actually cooking with my own saffron, do check out the video right here. Until next time, folks, live green and love your greens, and I will be sharing my saffron journey this year with you, so follow along.